What's up, guys? Barry Gaming here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today, well, we're going to be going into some PvP action here, and we're going to be tweaking our team up a little bit, mainly trying to focus on Therapist of Blood Betty, see how this hero actually performs. One thing we are most definitely going to run is the elusive mirror. That way she has a lot of speed, she potentially gets hit pretty soon in battle, all those fun things. Honestly, probably just want to make her a tankier hero as well. We're not really going for an offensive hero here. We're looking for control possibilities. Everybody else nowadays is pretty much going with a crown. I feel like there's absolutely no reason to go for like trying to get crazy round one wins. Going for the longevity and the survivability usually seems like one of the best options to go for. So a lot of these heroes are going to have full defensive setups. Other ones we're going to be a little bit more offensive here. Might want to go for a little speed here and there as well. Same for you. Probably want to go double speed node here. And then we do have precision, crit, and damage reduction. Honestly, I think one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be giving like everybody, not everybody, but our main damage dealers, I think instead of precision, I'm going to make sure they run control immunity. There's a better chance that they don't get CC'd. The other thing I'm going to do, oh, I guess I can't change the skin here. That's fine. That's fine. So I think that's this team we're going with. We literally have full noble cores of origin now. We are working on getting our levels up on all of these heroes. I don't think there's anything to be done as far as power gains here. There's like 1 point there. We did some X levels over here. Haven't really touched tenants. So let's jump into some PvP battles. I'm not going to show you this part of it, finding the teams, because, well, I don't want to show you my guild window because they have our Discord server on there. So I'm really trying to not show that information in one of these videos. So let's jump right into some battles. The first one I think is going to be up against Penny, one of our guild mates for a long time. Has a crazy strong Doom Terminator Vulcan. I want to see if this Therapist of Blood Betty can make a difference. So just so you know, we are literally at half of the power of Penny's team. Just putting it out there. Let's just see what happens. I have no clue if we can do it, but I'll show you guys the hero. I mean, his Doom Terminator Vulcan is pretty insane. However, wow, that queen already procced my front row hero, which is insane. But we do have that blood. Oh my goodness. So it was basically a trade-off. Our crowd control for their Scarlet Queen Halora, which is pretty insane. Maybe we just need to run her with damage reduction, because running the mirror, as nice as that is, getting that initial hit off. This is the difference, guys, of 1.2 billion power versus 2.7 billion power. As you guys can see, literally probably one of the strongest Doom Terminator Vulcans you'll see. Everybody is pretty much giant killer, just like us, except for their Natalia. But you can see the results. You definitely can't hit up in weight class nowadays. You definitely cannot. Next up is going to be Scythe. Now, this is a team that's actually coming back to the CC meta that you're about to see. It's going to have a Starwing Jara. It's going to be having a Therapist of Blood Betty. We are pretty much the same power levels here. You'll be able to see here in a second. So the active went off there. I think just everybody. Wow. Okay. So even though they got a very fast CC potential chance out, that ended up being a huge negative for this team right here. Holy cow. I was not expecting that, but Therapist of Blood Betty already making a pretty good stamp on the scene. And again, part of the issue here is lower quality heroes. That's like, even though we have very similar power levels as far as what our team power is considered, which honestly I think is just like your main team setup. It's not even like what you have in here. You can see the kind of power difference. I'll show you guys one more time, kind of highlighting the Therapist of Blood Betty. So the fact that she has 100 energy, if she gets hit immediately in the first round, that means it's going to trigger her passive ability, which then is also going to trigger her noble core, which, as you see, locks down a ton of these enemies, to the point where some just don't even get to go for the entire first round. We also have fear effects from Lord of Fear Aspen. We have freeze effects from our own Doom Terminator Vulcan. So it's quickly becoming more of a CC meta and still letting either Lord of Fear Aspen or Doom Terminator Vulcan finish it off. That time our B tier hero was one of the best MVPs, and that's without Giant Killer just yet, which is still our plan. So this next battle is going to be against Giffy right here, and it's a very similar team, but it's a pre-Therapist of Blood Betty team from the looks of it. It looks like it's still more oriented for big burst damage. However, we got our active off immediately, which is weird because normally we want to get the passive off and then the active. However, that is the downside of running the mirror, is you're going to be faster sometimes than the enemy team. However, the active skill is just as good as locking them down. It's just it kind of stops you from getting multiple, but you can see the amount of damage this hero is also putting out in combination with the core. You'll notice she's still the #1 MVP as far as PvP damage goes, and this is going to be interesting because this really does mess with Doom Terminator Vulcans as well. As you guys know, most PvP battles, they simply go to the point until Doom Terminator Vulcan gets weakness disclosure, which usually takes till around like round 6. However, that's based on the number of actives the enemy team actually gets off. This is going to stop that by a lot. The other thing is this Therapist of Blood Betty, she's set up full defensive. So maybe we should just get her full offensive and see what she can do, because this is a really fun hero. So I'm thinking we actually run this hero a little differently than traditional. Since a lot of her damage might come from her actual passive skill, we're going to run high skill damage and holy damage in conjunction there. I'm thinking that's going to be like one of the best things to run because she has a ton of hits. However, passive skills, you know what? I don't know if Scarlet Therapy can crit. I really, really don't. And I guess that's something we test right now. That is the passive portion of Scarlet Therapy, not the active skill. Let's see here. I want to see if the passive version of her Scarlet Therapy, or the passive that triggers Scarlet Therapy, actually can crit or not, to see if that's an offensive stat you want. We just need to wait here. We got the active, which is a little unfortunate. I might go up against Penny just to see how it works out, because as you guys see there, it's a little hard to tell. Especially when we CC the enemy so much. I don't even know if we're going to get our passive version off because it's just the main active skill. Yeah, because they literally didn't get a hit off. Let's try one more hit real quick. I just want to see how it works. So we obviously know... actually, you know what we could do? No, I can't do that because we'd have to go back and change up our whole lineup. So that portion can obviously crit. We need to see this one here. It doesn't look like it, because it looks like she, or is that the core? It's really hard to tell. There is one way we could definitely do a solid test on this to see exactly how it works. All right, let's do that last test before we get out of here, showing her how strong this hero can be. So we're going to go up against the very same team one more time. We put her in the back row so that we can see what happens since Lord of Fear Aspen does get to attack first here. Let's watch this Scarlet Therapy hit. It's all white numbers, so it looks like the Scarlet Therapy active that procs off of her passive is not really one that's going to crit. So that's good information to actually know. It's interesting. It's definitely interesting, because then maybe you need to run her with more holy damage and skill damage, but you can still see absolute MVP of PvP right now. And this is another reason why you're seeing a resurgence of Starwing Jara, because the combination of them and things like Void Campaign and stuff is absolutely insane. So let me know what you guys think. If you want to see more about Therapist Blood Betty, I am happy to show it off, because she's quickly becoming my favoriteest hero in the game. Most favorite. My favorite hero in the game. There we go. I'll see you guys next time.